Chapter 401 You Little Monster. After half a month. New World, aboard the Moby Dick. Ching, who was still a little pale, raised his glass to Whitebeard and saluted him, then raised his head and drank all the drinks in the glass. But at this moment, the atmosphere on the Moby Dick is a little weird. No, compared to weirdness, it should be extremely quiet, so quiet that it makes people feel that the sound of breathing is unnecessary. Whether it was Marco, Ace, Vista, or other squad leaders, they all looked in disbelief. The first time they met Ching, those scorching eyes made Ching feel a little flustered. Even Whitebeard didn't speak for a long time. And Blackbeard, who was standing in the corner behind Ace, was overwhelmed and shocked to the extreme. I said, brothers and dad, you all look at me like this, I'm a little panicked. After all, Ching couldn't stand the repressed breath, so she couldn't help saying, begging for mercy. Marco. Ace. Vista. Cool. Finally, it was Whitebeard who broke the silence. You're amazing boy. I originally thought that capturing Bullet alive and not falling behind against the Super Buster Call level was already the pinnacle of your strength. Even if this is the case, you can still be considered a genius. After all, there are not many people with such strength at the age of 15. But Whitebeard glanced at the side and sat cross-legged on the ground, but kept his head down. His whole body was covered with seastone chains, like a golden lion of a prodigal dog. His tone was full of tears and laughter. I didn't expect that in just over a month, you will tie this guy up. You kid, how strong is your strength now? Golden Lion is an existence similar to your father's strength. If you can bind him, doesn't it mean that you can also bind the old man? Speaking of this, Whitebeard's eyes couldn't help but have a strong fighting intent. Even though Whitebeard doesn't feel much about the title of the strongest man in the world, at this moment, Whitebeard's long-immersed blood can't help but rekindle. After all, Wen has no first, Wu has no second. Come on, Dad, don't think about it, I'm not your opponent now. It's Senior Golden Lion, that's what I did with all my life. When first met Marine Admiral, I had to take a detour. Besides, this is because he lost both legs and his strength has declined. Otherwise, I might be crying and talking to you today. In the face of Whitebeard's burning eyes, Ching hurriedly confessed. In case, on the whim of this old Whitebeard, it would be really difficult to compete with him. The strongest man in the world is not just talking. He didn't want to get hurt again as soon as he was seriously injured. And, in case Whitebeard was left with a hidden illness, he would cry to death. After finally taking care of Whitebeard a little bit of color, the result is a test, 1 day back to the liberation. Then make a yarn. Well, when Ching listened to it, he directly confessed, and the fighting intent on Whitebeard's face instantly disappeared. He looked to the side of the Golden Lion Shiki and walked away. This is his old friend. Cool, Shiki, I didn't expect to see you again, it's such a scene. Hearing this, Golden Lion suddenly raised his head and shouted savagely, Newgate, don't be hypocritical here, if you want to kill or cut, I, Shiki, will never frown. Chapter 402 Turning Fighters into Jade and Silk. Cool, don't get so excited, Shiki. Hearing Shiki's words, Whitebeard couldn't help feeling hearty issue, and then said, if this kid wants to kill you, why did he bring you here? HMPH, I think he brought me here, let you mock me and make me lose face. Killing the heart, this is more interesting than killing me directly. But Golden Lion Shiki did not appreciate it at all, but said yin and yang strangely. From beginning to end, he didn't have the slightest look on his face. Also, as a strong man of the same level as Whitebeard, he should be called a brother on an equal footing. But now, he can't lift his head at all. Originally, if he was defeated by Whitebeard and captured alive, he would have recognized it. However, now he was captured by one of Whitebeard's sons, which made his old face go. The most important thing is that the person who beat him is still so young. Win or lose, Senior Golden Lion Shiki, if you don't want to admit it, you have to admit it. You are now my defeat. Hearing the words of Golden Lion, Shajir folded his arms and said proudly. Hey, tell me, what the hell is going on, kid? You brought me here, Shiki, to humiliate me and then kill me to show your strength. Then, so you can get more attention from Whitebeard and get more power. Golden Lion shouted loudly towards Shajir. Golden Lion's words immediately attracted the attention of everyone around Marco's. In the face of Marco's attention, it is impossible for Shajir to say that there is no pressure. So, in order to divert his attention, he could only say, Hee, I'm sorry, Senior Shiki, I never thought of it that way, and I don't need to get more power by attracting Dad's attention. Then what did you want to do when you brought me here? Hearing Shajir answer, Golden Lion Shiki suddenly froze. It's not for power, what is it for, and it's so shameful to pull him out. I said it for to ask my father for advice on how to deal with a legendary pirate like you, do you believe it? Shajir touched his nose and answered with a bright eye. I don't believe it. Golden Lion spoke without thinking, he didn't believe that Shajir was so kind. Deal with a defeated general like Golden Lion Shiki, and ask Whitebeard what he meant. Dad, I'll leave this hot potato to you. I always feel that I still need to talk to you about dealing with him. Shajir couldn't help shrugging, and handed the Golden Lion Shiki trouble to Whitebeard. After all, Golden Lion was from the same era as Whitebeard. He was afraid that he would deal with Golden Lion rashly, causing Whitebeard to be unhappy. What if there is a deep friendship between them? The relationship between enemy and friend has become more common in the world of pirates. Cool, you kid, it's embarrassing for me to leave such a big trouble to me. Listening to Shajir handing over the handling of Golden Lion Shiki to himself, Whitebeard shook his head helplessly. Anyway, there hasn't been much misunderstanding between the two of you, so let's just reconcile. Killing the Golden Lion doesn't do any good. Whitebeard is happy to retain such a force as Golden Lion. I have no opinion. Hearing what Whitebeard said, Shajir immediately agreed. After all, keeping the Golden Lion alive is equivalent to preserving a huge amount of combat power. This is equivalent to Admiral-level combat power, why not do it? Chapter 403 Isho, S. Enmity. HMPH, don't think I'll take your love, Newgate. Hearing Whitebeard's words, Golden Lion Shiki let out a sigh of relief, but he still said it unforgivingly. Cannot die, who will choose to die? It's cool, I don't need your appreciation. Hearing Golden Lion's arrogant words, Whitebeard couldn't help laughing, then looked at Shajir and said, if that's the case, then let Shiki-senpai be released. Shajir naturally obeyed after hearing the words. After unlocking the Golden Lion, Shajir bowed politely and apologized, I offended you before. I hope you don't care about the villain, Hihen, my offense. HMPH, don't think you can say anything nice, I'll forgive you. As for Shajir apology, Golden Lion said in his heart that he was not moved, that would be a lie. But he is a person of status after all, and naturally he doesn't want to show any flaws in his mouth like this. Hee, as long as you don't hate me, that's enough. After listening to Golden Lion's words, Shajir, who knew exactly what kind of character he was naturally Isho. Newgate, now it looks like you're a better guy than Roger. There is this guy. Golden Lion sat cross-legged in front of Whitebeard and said with emotion, you will definitely become the new king of this sea. Then what Kaido, Bigu Mum, have to rely on you. Snort, terrified life. You have a nice son. To make Golden Lion, who has been proud of his life all his life, say such words, one can imagine how deep he was impressed by Shajir powerful strength. Cool Lala, children and grandchildren will have their own children and grandchildren, the old party of our era, all we have to do is escort. Hearing Shiki's words, Whitebeard smiled proudly. With such an excellent son, he has nothing to worry about. Dad, it's not appropriate to say such negative things in front of so many of us. We all look forward to your long life. Shazher Ching's voice suddenly came over, and everyone couldn't help but look, but they saw Shazher Ching's face full of bad expressions. In those eyes, all of them are bright, and there is a great pressure. Cool, that's what you said, don't take it seriously. Not to mention, even when Whitebeard looked at Shazher Ching like this, his scalp could not help tingling, and then he laughed. Come on, Shiki, it's rare for a busy person like you to come here. Little ones, it's a banquet. Oh. If there is one thing that makes pirates happiest in the sea, having a party is definitely one of them. You can drink less, Dad. Hearing Whitebeard's words, Shazher Ching and Marco couldn't help but look at each other, and both saw the helplessness in each other's eyes. Cool, yes. Whitebeard responded with a laugh. As to whether he would do this, I don't know. And when the banquet was held on the Moby Dick, the other forces of the sea were about to boil directly. All nations, Cake Island. This is the base camp of the Four Emperors Bigumum. Is it true? The Thunder Hunter, the escort, is really the Golden Lion Shiki. Bigumum looked at the son who was in charge of collecting information, and asked, screaming and writing. Road. Can't be wrong, it's definitely Golden Lion Shiki, the rudder on his head can never lie. The man replied. Chapter 404 The sea is going to be messed up. Bang. As soon as Bigumum got excited, he shattered a pillar beside her. Katakuri clearly saw that Bigumum, who had always been fearless, had a panicked look on his face. Whitebeard. Suddenly, Bigumum roared at the sky, and a wave of Conqueror Haki madly vented out. Boom. Suddenly, a group of people fell crazily, even the earth, all because of this terrifying Conqueror Haki. It was directly cracked and exploded. Damn, do you want to live under your shadow like this all the time? In Bigumum's tone, all are unwilling. Damn. Damn. At this moment, Bigumum seems to be a crazy woman, like a saboteur, and starts to frantically destroy everything she can see. And when Bigumum was frantically destroying all this, Wanokuni, the Thunder Hunter. The reaction with Bigumum was like Kaido carved out of a mold. After hearing the news that Golden Lion was captured by Shazher Ching and brought to the Whitebeard ship, he started to destroy it frantically. No, it should be said that it is starting to get drunk. It's just that this time, the drunken madness is really more crazy. Even Jin, one of the three disasters, can't hold back. And on the enemy side of the pirates, Marine headquarters. Sengoku got the news, he couldn't help breaking into a cold sweat, and then, without thinking about it, he went directly to dial Mariajoy. This matter, once spread, is really enough to disturb the sea. Heaven's pity can be seen. Let those crazy plunderers on the sea know that Shazher Ching has such strength, and they have to go to the flies to bite the eggs, and they rush to gather away. At that time, the whole sea will be chaotic because of them. At that time, it was really a day of despair for the people. Also because the news was caught off guard, but it was extremely serious. This meeting lasted for a full 2 hours. Mariajoy. Gorosei, 5 elders, who hung up the phone, fell into silence for a while. Then, Koichiro, who was holding the sword, said, It seems that the hunt for the Thunder Hunter is about to start, and I can't think about it anymore. This guy is growing too fast. Let the hunting team set out. As long as they can kill the Thunder Hunter, they can choose whatever means they want, and appropriate sacrifices are also acceptable. Gorosei, 5 elders were really frightened by Shazher Ching's terrifying growth rate. They originally thought about making a careful plan, and then killing Shazher Ching at a small price. Who would have thought that Shazher Ching already had the strength to capture the Golden Lion alive? The ghost knows to what extent the strength of Shazher Ching will grow. At that time, it was not certain whether they could beat Shazher Ching. Gorosei, 5 elders reacted. Sengoku also began deploying the marines in preparation for the chaos that was to come. The whole sea, the atmosphere suddenly became weird. And the first thing to do is to block the news as much as possible. Only in this way can the unrest be contained before it germinates. What's the situation? Why is Marine all of a sudden so much fanfare? Could it be that something big happened? This battle is obviously extraordinary. When the pirates on the sea saw Marine's sudden and grand battle, they couldn't help being taken aback. It can be seen that in the first half of the Great Route, there have never been so many vice admiral from the headquarters. Chapter 405. The team. Usually seeing a Marine vice admiral is enough for them to panic. But now, look at the warships, which one is not vice admiral? What the hell, what happened? This is what all pirates want to ask. The pirates in the first half of the Great Route are still ignorant, but the New World is different. Shajur-Ching captured the legendary pirate alive, the Golden Lion Shiki Matter. Just like the plague, the waste spread rapidly. The pirates who knew the news were shocked. They never thought that Shajur-Ching would be so sturdy. That is the Golden Lion. Together with Roger and Whitebeard, they are known as the legendary Three Great Pirates. They possess a terrifying existence with earth-shaking power. However, they are now planted in the hands of Shajur-Ching. They just want to say, how strong is Shajur-Ching in order to do this? Could it be that the power of the sea is going to be reshuffled again? Many people thought so in their hearts. Many people also know that this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Therefore, they all tried their best to seize this good opportunity, and they all headed towards Nine Snake Island. They want to join Shajur-Ching and get his shelter. Even the Golden Lion was planted in the hands of Shajur-Ching. What else is there to say? After joining Shajur-Ching's subordinates, from then on, apart from the four emperors, no one dares to stand against them. After all, Shajur-Ching also has a backer of the head of the four emperors, Whitebeard. It is rude to say that Whitebeard and Shajur-Ching's forces have the ability to subvert this world. If you don't seize the opportunity at this time, take a step slowly, there may be no chance. Of course, all of this has nothing to do with Shajur-Ching, who was drunk on the Moby Dick. He also didn't know that his actions would cause such a big movement all of a sudden. At this moment, he is holding his aching head, sitting on the deck and blowing hair. How can you drink the wine accidentally? Oh, it's still not calm enough. Shajur-Ching looked at the endless sea and sighed like this. Yesterday, at the banquet, people like Marco were running around, and he didn't know how he changed from drinking juice to drinking in a daze. But, let's not say, the taste of this wine is really good. It's that the stamina is too great. I can't play Shajur-Ching's strong physical fitness. I'm afraid it can't be slowed down now. Blood. At this moment, the phone bug in his arms suddenly rang. What's the matter, Anna? After Shajur-Ching got connected, she saw that the phone bug had become Anna's unique feature, and after a pair of bright big eyes, she asked curiously. Just come back and talk about it. The movement you made this time is really big enough. On the other end of the phone bug, there was Anna's slightly complaining voice, which made Shajur-Ching a little confused. If you don't come back, Nine Snake Island will not be able to shock the scene. At that time, there may be a bloody storm waiting for you. You should consider it yourself. After saying this, Anna hung up the phone and didn't give Shajur-Ching a chance to ask. Of course, even if Anna didn't say it, he could probably guess what happened. This time, after all, it's too bright. Shajur-Ching touched his nose and said helplessly. Then, he could only go and say goodbye to Whitebeard. Chapter 406. Kizaru Intercept. Cool. I got it, go for it. After listening to Shajur-Ching's request to leave, Whitebeard readily agreed. Then I'll go first, Dad. I'll see you later when I have time. After Shajur-Ching made a salute, he boarded his own boat and left the Moby Dick. And behind Shajur-Ching, ships followed his footsteps closely, never falling. These are all pirates who come here admiringly. They all want to join the Summer Chamber of Commerce and find a strong backer for themselves. Look, isn't that the Thunder Hunter's ship? Hey, really, hurry up, hurry up and catch up. Ha ha ha, our luck is really good. We actually met the Thunder Hunter here. This is simply an opportunity given to us by God. Along the way, wherever Shajur-Ching passed, such voices came one after another. Then, there were more and more little tales behind Shajur-Ching. In the end, it was directly connected. Shajur-Ching naturally knew the existence of these people, but he completely ignored them. Since they are willing to follow, let them follow. He didn't plan to recruit everyone anyway. But such a big battle, how could it not attract the attention of Marine, who was closely watching the situation in the New World? As a result, when Shajur-Ching was about to arrive at the transition island at the entrance of the first half of the Great Route, warships suddenly appeared on the sea. Oh, on that warship, Marine Vice Admirals such as Momonga, Onagumo, etc. are lined up. It is called a majestic and imposing one. But this is not the most important thing. The most important thing is that on the leading warship, there appeared a person who made all the pirates present panic. Even Shajur-Ching couldn't help taking a deep breath. Who is this person? No one else. Marine, S3 Admiral, Borsellino, codenamed Kizaru. Among the 3 admirals, the fastest and best at chasing and intercepting. It's scary to see so many scary guys. Kizaru glanced at these people, including Shajur-Ching, and pouted and pretended to be terrifying. But among the pirates, no one would think that he was really afraid. After all, although I'm here to capture the Thunder Hunter, since there are so many here, let's clear some obstacles first. Kizaru said this lazily, and saw him leap into the air, his body glowing, and said, Yasukani no Magatama. A piece of light rain the size of a bowl, came down like this, covering the entire sky, making everyone including Shajur-Ching feel a burst of despair. Everyone can feel the terrifying power that every light rain carries. One is enough to destroy one of their ships. Not to mention so much. They will almost be dead without a burial. In the face of such a terrifying attack, how dare they have any negligence, and they all used their own housekeeping skills. Shajur-Ching also planned to deal with it, but before he could do it, Kizaru appeared in front of him like a burst of light, and kicked it out at the speed of light. Bang! Shajur-Ching pulled out the stream of fire and fought away, blocking the blow. Then, without even thinking about it, just staring at it as a kaleidoscope illusion released. One blade stream Libo. Taking advantage of the gap where Kizaru was wrapped in illusion, Shajur-Ching slashed out a thunder wave with his sword to disperse the rain of light falling from the sky. Chapter 407 Kizaru's Surprise. Bang! Immediately, there was fire on the sea, and the sound of explosions continued one after another, which immediately caused a raging sea. It's really scary to have such a powerful mental attack. At this time, Kizaru's lazy voice came from behind Shajur-Ching, and with it came a strong sense of crisis. He didn't even think about it, he just swung out a sword. Bang! A phantom-like strong light ray was split in half by him, and then exploded again, causing a wave. I didn't expect that Marine Admiral would be dispatched in order to catch me. I really look up to me. Shajur-Ching looked at Kizaru vigilantly, making fun of her. There is no way, a dangerous person like you can only do it with a working old man. The rest of the people can't keep you. Kizaru reappeared in front of Shajur-Ching again, with another kick. Bang! Shajur-Ching blocked it with difficulty, looked at Kizaru, and showed a confident smile. Kizaru, maybe, you can't keep me today. Nah, that's horrible. Hearing Shajur-Ching's words, Kizaru's eyes suddenly became sharp, and then, the strength on his legs suddenly increased, and he actually shook Shajur-Ching out. Then we have to take advantage of the situation and take you down. Kizaru suddenly became extremely fierce, and when he saw the light in his hand, a long sword appeared. The name is Amaterasu Cloud Sword. Susanoo. Shajur-Ching didn't dare to be slighted, knowing that he was in this state. It was impossible for him to be an opponent of Kizaru, and he immediately entered the state of complete body Susanoo. Oh, there is such a terrifying existence. It's really scary. Is this the way to defeat the golden lion? Kizaru could clearly feel that Shajirching's breath instantly became several times sharper. Come on. After the last battle, Shajirching's power to manipulate Susanoo became much stronger. A sword fell, the air collapsed, the sea split open more directly, the sky rolled over, and there was supreme terror. Just let me see, Marine Admiral, Majesty. Shajirching's left eye is spinning frantically, and the oppressed Kizaru can only pick it up. Bang! When they really met each other, Kizaru knew how terrifying the power of this blow was. Even he could not help but feel a sense of heaviness on the top of a mountain, and the raging sword intent seemed to split his soul. If you don't get rid of this child, it will be a disaster. Kizaru thought in his heart. Bang! 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 The two kept bumping into each other, one big and one small. Shajirching could stand on the water himself. He naturally didn't think it was strange, but what surprised him was that Kizaru could also stand on the water, and it didn't feel difficult at all. Unexpectedly, it can be difficult to understand, Mr. Admiral, this guy is really so terrifying. Watching the turbulent situation between the two of them, the waves were rolling, and the surrounding marine wanted to get close, but couldn't get close. You can only watch from a distance. It's so scary, the crowd thought in their hearts. It's terrifying. Kizaru tried to accelerate. He thought that Susanoo would not be fast due to his size, but who would have thought that although Susanoo was big, his speed was not slow at all. No matter how fast he was, Shajirching could follow him. On, he takes less than half of the cheap. Chapter 408 Difficult. However, I'm not fighting alone today. It's really terrifying. It's the first time that I need to dispatch the old man and so many vice admirals to arrest a person. Kizaru said in his heart. As I spoke, the strength in my hands suddenly increased. This made Shajirching suddenly feel a huge pressure. And when Shajirching and Kizaru were engaged in an earth-shattering battle, those who followed behind him, thinking they could get some credit, couldn't help but lose blood mold. Being targeted by Momonga, Yamakaji, Onagumo, what else is there to do? These people are all jealous people. Coupled with these people, almost all of them are extremely vicious people. If Onagumo and the others met, it is naturally impossible to let them go. Ah! 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 Therefore, you can hear their constant screams, panic calls for help, and the sound of ships breaking and shattering. Today, all of you don't even try to escape. The only end for all of you today is death. There are constantly such voices coming, and the murderous intent is awe-inspiring. Of course, if this has no effect on Shajirching, it is impossible. After all, his current situation is really not that good. He is facing the most flexible and toughest Kizaru in Marine Admiral. Although the strength of Golden Lion and Kizaru is not much different. But the Golden Lion was captured alive, and that was because of his fruit ability, not including elementalization, which was well developed. It was almost incomprehensible. Moreover, in aerial combat, his thunderbolt not only restrains the Golden Lion, but also has a certain psychological influence on the thunderbolt. Only then did Shajirching successfully capture him alive at the cost of serious injuries. But Kizaru can't be afraid of Shajirching's thunder and lightning, unless he can't react. His use of elementalization has almost reached the realm of freedom. Rao is Shajirching who brought Haki into the thunder and lightning, and then landed with the momentum of thunder, but still can't help Kizaru. However, Shajirching can't help Kizaru, and Kizaru can't help Shajirching. Kizaru said in his heart, this kid's observation Haki is too scary, he can actually see through this old man's flaws. Also, this swordsmanship is powerful and powerful. Although the realm is not as good as that of the old man, its power is completely reckless. Shajirching's sword is so powerful that it doesn't matter, but the speed is too fast. Moreover, the move connection is perfect. But it's not this that bothers Kizaru the most. It was Shajirching's strange and boundless spiritual attack. Lethal, not lethal, powerful, not too big. However, in the hands of Shajir-Ching, it is just right, and with his fierce swordsmanship, it can be said that they complement each other and complement each other. Kizaru, he almost said that several times. There are several scars on his body, and the blood is flowing. This is really rare for Kizaru as an admiral. Bang! Another sword collided with each other, and the thunderous light made a great effort. A terrifying thunder snake spread and bit towards Kizaru. It was really terrifying. Kizaru can only break free immediately, and the precise elemental body evades. Since knowing the power of these 300 million volts of lightning just now, Kizaru dare not be touched by lightning again. The sunken, charred wound on his chest is a lesson. Chapter 409 Goodbye, you. Hey, I have to admit that you are the toughest enemy and the youngest enemy I have met since I was promoted to admiral. When you are your age, a bounty of over 100 million might already be a monster. Kizaru Vivi panted and looked at Shajir-Ching, who was on Susanoo. His face was extremely solemn. Even Kizaru, who has always been lazy and boundless, had to put away his lazy attitude and take it seriously after encountering a troublesome person like Shajir-Ching. But in front of you, the term over 100 million is really not worthy of your shoes. At the age of 15, there was a bounty of more than 1 billion, and he defeated the legendary pirate, the Flying Admiral Golden Lion Shiki. You are really terrible. If it's just that, it's fine, but there is a whitebeard behind you. When Kizaru said this, the Tiankong Yunjian in his hand suddenly became more condensed and sharp. He is already the strongest man in the world, and you, Kizaru said here. His eyes were full of fear, and even a little panicked. With your growth rate, the future is unpredictable. At that time, the entire sea will be shaken because of you. Quote. You must not remain in the world. No matter what, you must be destroyed. After all, Kizaru has disappeared in place, and then, a super long lightsaber has appeared in his hand, and it slams the sea down. Even though it was you who came out in person, I still have to say, Kizaru, you can't keep me. Hearing Kizaru's words, Shajir-Ching couldn't help but feel awe, but still said confidently. Then, a sword strikes out. Speak with strength. This time, it is rare for Kizaru to answer so seriously. Boom. The two collided heavily again, and the sea exploded directly. A huge wave of more than 50 meters slammed, and the surrounding warships were directly shot back. Those pirate ships are constantly broken. Thunder Hunter, don't be arrogant, eat my sword. At this time, Onagumo's gloomy voice suddenly came over. I saw that he had already solved the battle, and was stepping on the moon step, and a huge sword wave came out from the hanging sword. Aren't you arrogant or not? Before that, Onagumo Vice Admiral, I think you should worry about yourself. Shajir-Ching didn't even look at Onagumo, she just said that, with great confidence. Of course, in Onagumo's view, this is more than arrogance, it is simply conceit. But, boom. Onagumo saw a huge thunder hit his sword wave, instantly annihilating his sword wave. He couldn't help being taken aback, and before he could react, he felt a strong sense of horror suddenly come from his head. A huge thunder, aimed at him, came down. How is that possible? Onagumo never thought that Shajir-Ching would be so powerful. You can also attack yourself when fighting against Kizaru. Flash. He thought so in his heart. Boom. Onagumo disappeared with a swipe, but the ship under him that belonged to Shajir-Ching exploded with a bang. Kizaru Admiral, bye. Shajir-Ching shouted like this, and then, a large piece of blood suddenly flowed out of his left eye, pouring out 1,000 miles. Boom. Kizaru didn't understand what was going on, but he felt that the power of Shajir-Ching's sword exploded in an instant, and he was slammed back out. Chapter 410 I want to go, who can stop me? How is that possible? Yes, now it is the Admiral Kizaru, and such an unbelievable idea pops up in my head. He really didn't know how Shajir-Ching's power suddenly increased so much. But seeing his eyes bleeding, obviously, it's just a time-limited trick. If you continue, he will definitely not be able to last. But Kizaru's head turned sharply, and he looked at the ship destroyed by Shajirching himself with the thunder and lightning. He was very puzzled. Destroy your own escape tool, what the hell does the Thunder Hunter think? He didn't think that Shajirching would not know the location of his ship and accidentally destroyed his ship. But he has no time to care about that now. Because Shajirching's pursuit has come. The profound truth of Kendo extermination. A sword came out, with the power to open the sky, and the sharp edge to destroy everything, crushed the air, and was in the sky above Kizaru. If you are near, a sword will fall, and if you are far away, you will kill the enemy with a sword wave. These are the two manifestations of the trick of extermination. The sky is from the clouds. In the face of this attacking sword, no matter where Kizaru dared to neglect, he also used his strongest blow. Boom! The whole sky trembled with tears, but Kizaru couldn't help groaning again. People are in the air, how can I use strength? Even if he is stronger than Shajirching, he must suffer. Not to mention not yet. Therefore, he was knocked back a long distance again. Goodbye, Marines. Shajirching couldn't help laughing when he saw that he had kicked Kizaru out, and then he dismissed Susano. Then, like a thunder, it rushed straight to the sea. Seeing this scene, Kizaru couldn't help but be shocked, but there was someone who was more anxious than him. Quickly stop him, don't let him get into the sea, that guy has a strong diving ability. An LT, P and GT. The speaker is Onagumo. It won't let you do it. Let's just say, Onagumo swung his sword, and countless terrifying sword chi came out, trying to stop Shajirching. With Onagumo's reminder, Kizaru naturally realized the seriousness of the matter. 8-foot mirror. He immediately turned into a ray of light, rushed in front of Shajirching, and kicked out at the speed of light. Also, only he can have such a fast speed to stop Shajirching. But can it really be done? You can't do it, Kizaru Admiral. Shajirching actually knew that Kizaru would come after him. In the face of this light speed strike, he did not dodge or dodge, but instead grinned at Kizaru and showed a very happy smile. This is very abnormal. Kizaru couldn't help but groan in his heart. Boom! He hit Shajirching, but... Bang! I saw Shajirching suddenly exploded and turned into a piece of wood. And the real Shajirching had already appeared on the sea. His hands were still sealed at the extreme speed, and he heard him shout, "Lightning done, heavenly tribulation thunder punishment." Boom! Without giving Kizaru a chance to pursue, a terrifying thunderbolt fell, forcing Kizaru to either retreat or dodge with elementalization. Not only that, but there were also terrifying thunderbolts over the heads of other Vice Admiral. Hi! All the Vice Admiral could not help but shudder at the same time. The power of this lightning, they are too clear. It can be said that it hurts. Chapter-401 Sengoku is shocked. Without even thinking about it, they quickly retreated. But is this the end? No. This thunder and lightning is like rain, completely covering the area where the marine warship is located, giving people no chance to breathe at all. Even Kizaru won't get a chance to breathe for a while, let alone use a wide area attack like Yasukani no Magatama, to prevent Shajirching from entering the sea. Ha ha ha, Kizaru Admiral, I'm going to. Shajirching is like a tuna. After diving into the sea, terrifying chakra erupted under his feet, which turned into infinite power and pushed Shajirching into the deep ocean. Then, sneak away with extreme speed. The moment Shajirching left, the lightning dissipated. But it has no effect. Kizaru couldn't help but sighed, and wanted to chase, but he couldn't sense Shajirching's breath. What's more, I, the land duck devil fruit ability person, can't enter the sea for long. In this way, Shajirching, surrounded by Marine Admiral and a group of Vice Admiral, left easily. Thunder Hunter, it will be a big problem, we must find a suitable opportunity to get rid of him. Kizaru landed on a fragment of a broken warship, looking at the tragic state of himself and others annihilated, a sigh flashed on his somewhat old, lazy face. Now, Thunder Hunter is really famous. Capture the legendary pirate like Golden Lion Shiki alive. From Marine Admiral, a group of Marine Vice Admiral rounded up to escape safely. Such a record, I am afraid that only the 4 emperors, no, it should be said that even the 4 emperors themselves may not be able to achieve. But Xia Zhiqing did it, and Marine suffered heavy losses. All the warships were shattered. This time, his bounty is estimated to have skyrocketed. This time, the sea may really be in chaos. Will the days when the people are struggling will come again after all? A scene of chaos appeared in Kizaru's mind. It was a scene of blood, and blood was floating. This may be the first time since he took over as admiral. The last time such a chaotic world was like this might have been more than 50 years ago. At that time, he was still a teenager, and Whitebeard was in his early 20s. And the name of that era, called Rocks. Today's 4 emperors, only the red hair has nothing to do with him. But, Kizaru woke up from his absence and looked at the other pirates. These wicked people can't be let go. The right should be a little bit of compensation, at least you can't get nothing, it's too embarrassing to go back. Kizaru thought so in his heart. As a result, these pirates in a bad situation, after being targeted by Marine Admiral, their situation will be even worse. Therefore, there is only one final outcome for them, and that is to be arrested. Marine Headquarters. What, even if you personally dispatched, you have failed. Sengoku received the call from Kizaru. He slumped in his seat in disbelief. Nah, although it sounds unbelievable, it's the truth. I personally went out and he still got away. From the phone bug, Kizaru's dry words came. It is a miracle that Kizaru, who has always been lazy, has a dry tone. After all, even the 4 emperors might not be able to do it. This point, the whole sea agrees. But now, it was done by the Thunder Hunter. Chapter 412 Gorosei, 5 elders are also confused. Thunder Hunter, how perverted are you? Cold sweat broke out on Sengoku's head. His back is cold. This is also terrifying, unheard of. As soon as he thought of this kind of news, it would be immediately known by major news agencies, and when it was published in a booklet and spread across the sea, he couldn't help sweating even more. It's going to be a thunderbolt blow to Marine. This would mean that Marine would lose face and become a joke. But the more critical and worse effect is that Xia Zhiqing broke the myth of Marine Admiral's unparalleled combat power once again. The last time it did this was Rocks. And the impact of this means that Marine Admiral's strength and prestige will be questioned. The deterrent power to pirates will be greatly reduced. Such a thing, if the 4 emperors did it, it would be excusable. After all, he is the emperor of the New World, with unparalleled force. But now, the person who did all this is a 15-year-old youth. A hairy boy who has only gone to sea for less than 4 years. A yellow-mouthed child who is neither a big tyrant nor the terrifying strength of the 4 emperors. It is conceivable that with the exaggerated and eye-catching regulations of the major news agencies, facing this kind of explosive news, I don't know how to organize Marine accountable. I am afraid that all kinds of content that belittle Marine and elevate Xia Zhiqing will spread throughout the sea in just a few hours. Get Gorosei, 5 elders to block the news. The first thing Sengoku did after calming down was to call Gorosei, 5 elders right away. And Gorosei, 5 elders. After getting the news from Sengoku, I was also shocked. They didn't expect that Kizaru would actually let people get away. If I had known this earlier, I should have recommended Kuzan in the first place. In this way, even if he can go to sea, with Kuzan's ability, he will not be given this chance. But now regret is useless, and there is still suspicion of hindsight. The most important thing now is to block the news with the absolute authority of the world government. Minimize the impact of this incident. All forces in the dark of the sea. The speed of the world government is really fast. Such good news, what a pity. A man with sullen eyes said so. I saw him sitting in the darkness surrounded by clouds and mist, and his voice was even more quiet and cold, as if floating above the sky. Forget it, although I'm strong and powerful, I'm still not up to the world government. Let's wait for the right opportunity. I believe that at that time, it must be a very interesting thing. It is worth noting that this man has a tattoo of Black Goshawk on his arm. If you are familiar with the underground dark forces, you will know that this is a sign of a big news agency that has friendship with Wanokuni Kurozumi Orochi and Bigu Mamu. I didn't expect this Thunder Hunter to have such terrifying strength. It seems that the counterattack against him must be stopped. With this guy's current strength, he angered him, and let him follow the path and chase after him. Even if I am rich, I'm afraid I can't stop this guy. For the sake of my life, I can only endure and let him join this route. After all, life is more valuable than things outside Bailey. In a splendid hall, a certain middle-aged man with a big belly, oiled hair, and a suit threw a note in his hand into the furnace and burned it. Chapter 413 Surprise, 1.5 billion. Behind him, there is a sign of a huge sailing ship. This is the logo of the largest sailing company on the sea today, the King of Ships. According to what he just said, he actually had a conflict with Shajirqing's Summer Chamber of Commerce. If Shajirqing knew that because he was too powerful, he saved the Sha Chamber of Commerce from a disaster, I don't know how he would feel. Leave calmly from the pursuit of Kizaru and a group of Marine Vice Admirals. Thunder Hunter, how terrifying do you need to be to rest? This time, even Katakuri, the leader of the three generals, can't help but feel chills all over. This is too scary. This is too powerful. Although he had long expected this day to come, it came so quickly that he was somewhat startled. After all, behind him is Whitebeard. People like Katakuri are panicking, let alone others. Dressrosa. Furfur, what a terrible guy. As the Joker of the underground forces, Doflamingo naturally knew the news right away. Don't look at how arrogant and uninhibited he still laughs this time, but his trembling fingers can't deceive anyone. Obviously, he was afraid. Yes, Doflamingo, he's scared. If someone looks closely, they will find that Doflamingo's back is already wet. In more and more other places, those who can get this news have fallen into silence. Then, some fell into a panic, and some showed a crazy color. And at the Marine headquarters, Sengoku raised Shajirqing's bounty from more than 1 billion to 1.5 billion at once. And let everyone shout about his defeat and capture of Golden Lion Shiki alive. In this way, hide the scandal that Kizaru went out to hunt down Shajirqing but was escaped by him. Even if Shajirqing captured Golden Lion Shiki alive, it can be said that everyone in the New World knows about it. But the people in the first half of the Great Route don't know, so this big news broke out all of a sudden, the whole first half, and even the whole world is boiling. This is too scary, even the Golden Lion Shiki was defeated. No wonder Marine suddenly went into martial law some time ago, so it was. The sweetheart finally knows why Marine is suddenly under martial law. It is also a loss for Marine to prepare early. Those pirates who wanted to be restless after hearing the news were suppressed by Marine with a thunderous momentum. After all, it didn't cause a shocking panic. But the seeds of unease are still planted in the hearts of the people. In particular, the people in the first half of the Great Route were extremely panicked. After all, Shajirqing's base camp is in the first half of the Great Route, and such a brutal rioter is right beside them. And in North Blue. It's so powerful. Vinsmoke Judge, I only feel that the whole person is cold, and every cell is shaking. When he remembered that a few months ago, he was still thinking of using the power of the world government to kill Shajirqing's prestige, he couldn't help shuddering deeply. Now it seems that his thoughts at that time are no different from courting death. Fortunately, with 1 billion Baileys, the problem is solved. Otherwise, thinking of the consequences, his scalp was numb. The bounty of 1.5 billion is probably the strongest bounty besides the 4 emperors. Marine, does the fanfare necessary? Not everyone would be completely confused by the news that Shajur-Ching had captured the golden lion, they thought in confusion. Chapter 413 King's Return. They always feel that there is an unknown purpose behind the fanfare. But they don't know yet. Of course, there are only a few people who think like this, and most of them are attracted by Shajur-Ching's huge bounty. After all, it is a bounty of 1.5 billion. Since the establishment of Marine, the first non-four emperor pirates have this kind of bounty. After all, the Phoenix Marco, the captain of the first team of the Whitebeard pirates, is only 1.425 billion Bailey. But it's normal. After all, it's the one who captured the golden lion alive. It's not surprising to have this kind of bounty. Because Marine deployed troops in a timely manner, even if many pirates were encouraged by Shajur-Ching's huge bounty, they would come to join them if they wanted. But most of the people who have this idea are ruthlessly blocked by Marine. The remaining elites, at this moment, are also gathering near Nine Snake Island, but they dare not get close. Even if Shajur-Ching aside, the title of Pirate Empress is enough to deter many pirates. Otherwise, Marine wouldn't have let Hancock serve as Shichibukai. Of course, although these people did not dare to mess around, the female warriors of Nine Snake Island who were in charge of martial law did not dare to relax. Among the people who came, the lowest bounty started with 50 million Bailey. The highest one has reached 258 million Bailey. In the first half of the Great Route, it can already be said to be a powerful force. This is a scale enough to make the king who wants to be a lot change his face. I wonder if Natsu-sama will accept these people. Although I don't like some people, there are still people who are available. Anna stood in the port, with a graceful appearance, her beautiful eyes swept over these people, and there was a glimmer of light in her eyes. It is worth noting that her lower abdomen has been somewhat bulging. Obviously, she has advanced from a woman to a mother. Let him decide. We can't choose anything anyway. Hancock took a step forward and stood shoulder to shoulder with Anna, forming a beautiful landscape that attracted the attention of all the pirates at sea. Keep your eyes peeled. These two are first-class beauties, standing together. It is more than pleasing to the eyes and can be described. The people I saw who were still doing their own thing, at this moment, they all stopped the actions in their hands, and their eyes were completely fixed on the two of them. Bang! 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 There were actually many pirates, and they were so excited that they were stunned by Hancock's beauty. But no one cares about them at all, because these people only have Hancock in their minds. But at this time, from behind them, there was a sudden snort. Om! This cry, cold, domineering, murderous, with great majesty, makes people unable to resist surrendering. All the pirates present couldn't help but shuddered and instantly woke up. Even the surrounding area was instantly quiet. Needle drop can be heard. But Hancock and Anna both suddenly smiled, because they saw the sweetheart they should see. All the pirates also guessed the owner of this cold snort, and couldn't help but look behind them with a look of panic. I saw Shajur-Ching dressed in black, sitting on top of a sea king, approaching quickly. Chapter 415 on how Tianzhao is made. Hey! Many pirates looked at Shajur-Ching with surprised expressions. So young. Is he really only 15 years old? This is more majestic and domineering than the reward order. Among the pirates, some people said that, surprised and amazed. What is Tianzhao? This is it. It's just breathless, majestic, so powerful, so scary. It's not an exaggeration to say that he is shoulder to shoulder with the four emperors. Before this, many people only saw Shajur-Ching in the reward order. I have no personal experience with Shajur-Ching's power. But now, they feel it. This is like an abyss, suffocating, every cell trembles, and there is no feeling of resistance at all. They ask themselves this is definitely the first time. This feeling is really memorable for a lifetime. So unscrupulously teasing, playing my woman, when I am the hunter of Thunder Naz, doesn't it exist? Approaching these pirates, Shajur-Ching's star-like eyes swept across these people, His tone was indifferent, but he said powerfully. Hi. What kind of eyes are these, as amazing as lightning, as sharp as a knife, and like a vast starry sky, with endless pressure, just one look can oppress everyone, and surrender directly in front of Shajir. Take a rest, everyone, and start the selection tomorrow. Since you are willing to support me, then I can't let you go away in vain. Shajir said indifferently that he was obviously extremely arrogant, but these unruly pirates present couldn't help but feel a sense of great honor. There was a pride in my heart, and they shouted in unison, yes. Shajir waved and rebuked, go. Then, he took the Sea King class and went ashore. Welcome back. Both Hancock and Anna said with a smile on their faces. You too, can't you live in peace? Aren't you afraid of causing chaos and hurting the interests of Nine Snake Island? Looking at the two beauties in front of him, the original indifference on Shajir face instantly turned helpless. Then, he looked at Anna and said viciously, you're already half a mother, and you're still so messed up. If you hurt the baby, see how I teach you. Looking at Shajir vicious appearance, Anna couldn't help but pouted and said, I'm so scared, oh my, there's no reason for someone to bully me, this defenseless and weak woman. After all, pretend to have tears in your eyes. Ah, if you are a weak woman, then no one is a weak woman. Hearing Anna's words, Shajir could not help but wipe the cold sweat on his forehead, and then said solemnly, okay, let's go home. Go back and organize, these people still have good seedlings. Shajir put one arm around the other and headed towards the Nine Snake Island Kingdom. The rest of the female fighters also left one after another. And those pirates on the sea can't help but look forward to it. Then, they started their ships and started spinning around Nine Snake Island. Although their ships are loaded with sea stones, which can make the Sea Kings in the windless zone less troublesome to them, if they stay in place, they will still be found. So, for now, if you keep sailing, you will be considered a cruise of the same kind by the Sea Kings, and will not be attacked. Chapter 416 Smart Gilzer. Summer Chamber of Commerce. Sir, what happened to make your return date one more day? Judging from the fact that Marine suddenly raised the bounty for you, I think you must have encountered something on the road, but this is very unfavorable to Marine. So, it was Gills who spoke, his face full of wisdom. Sengoku wants to use a high bounty to attract the attention of the world. Hearing Gills's words, the surrounding Enel, Didia and others couldn't help but nodded in agreement. Hee, as expected of Gills, this head is so easy to use. Shajir first praised, and then said with a slightly solemn face, the reason why I came back late is because first met Marine on the road, led by Marine Admiral Kizaru, and some vice admirals from Onagumo. Marine Admiral. Hearing this, everyone present couldn't help but startled. The fear of Marine Admiral is deeply rooted in their hearts. You're back safely, which means... Suddenly, Gills seemed to have thought of something, and then showed his original appearance and said with a smile, I see, no wonder Marine suddenly announced that the president had captured Golden Lion Shiki, and announced his reward in a high-profile manner. Gold, and spread the word. Quote. What the hell is it? Don't sell it. Seeing that Gills actually played a riddle with everyone couldn't help feeling anxious. Looking at Gills's mysterious appearance, they couldn't help but want to beat him to the ground and teach him a lesson. Hee, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. President, you should be in the encirclement led by Marine Admiral and leave in a grand manner. Marine just wanted to cover up this matter and preserve Marine Admiral's prestige, so that's why she came up with this method to cover up this matter. Yeah, that's it, it's just as you'd imagine, Marine is just to cover this up, that's why he made a 1.5 billion bounty to attract attention. Since this matter has not spread so far, it is obviously blocked by the world government. It's Sengoku, the reaction speed is really too fast. Shajir sighed like this. Master President, it's amazing, he was able to leave safely under the siege of Marine Admiral. I want to come and let Marine suffer a little, Gills said in a voice. Almost, otherwise, they wouldn't have done it. However, it's Marine Admiral, it's not easy to leave under the siege of a group of them. Shajir said this with emotion. Only then did everyone notice that his face was a little pale. Injured, Anna said with a worried look. Almost, it's Marine Admiral after all. Although it made them very embarrassed, I didn't get the slightest benefit. It's almost a serious injury. It's a loss that I am a person who can swim freely in the ocean, otherwise, it would be really planted in the hands of Kizaru and the others. Seeing what Shajir said was so calm, but everyone would not think it was easy. It is conceivable that he is definitely a very dangerous and extremely fierce battle. The opponent, but Marine Admiral, the world's highest level of combat power. No one dares to underestimate the scale. Chapter 417 Ship King. Okay, but that's all, get ready, those who have been collected must be domesticated properly. Shajir didn't want to tell the crowd too much about this, so he changed the subject. It does need to be prepared. After all, there are still some good people among those people. If you don't beat it well, you can't use it with confidence. Anna nodded in agreement when she heard the words, while Shajir looked at Tezzolo and said, "The branch of the New World, is the development going well?" Shajir was also surprised that Tezzolo would appear here. But since he's here, it's good to ask about the situation. Fortunately, thanks to the President's reputation, few people dare to crowd out our power even in the New World. Hearing this, Tezzolo wanted to answer respectfully. Then, he thought of something and said, "However, if I really want to say it, there is one thing that is really very thrilling." The eyes of everyone who saw it turned to him. After Tezzolo pondered and organized the language, he said, "If we want to develop in the New World, we will inevitably conflict with the Ship King. Wong doesn't care much, it's okay to be eaten by Vivi. But with our gradual development, after more and more funds are running, conflicts with their interests will inevitably arise. Therefore, the King of Ships has less and less tolerance for us. Not long ago, we had a conflict with the Ship King. He was going to take revenge and teach us a lesson, but for some reason, it suddenly died down. When I heard about your fight with Marine Admiral just now, I think it's probably because the Ship King didn't want to offend a big guy like you after learning about your tyrannical strength." Hearing Tezzolo's words, even Shajir couldn't help Vivi breaking out in a cold sweat. This guy, the King of Ships, controls nearly 40% of the shipping business in the entire world. It can be said that without his consent, it is basically impossible for a newcomer to develop business at sea. He has absolute control over ocean shipping, but Shajir knows that even Big Mum and Kaido are his partners. No one knows how many cooperative forces behind him. Such a person has an intertwined relationship, and even the current Shajir can't stand it. Another day, I must thank the Sailor King, this is a great favor. Shajir is not an arrogant person. Knowing that this is the King of Ships unwilling to destroy the principle of harmony and wealth, he let him go. Is this Ship King so terrifying? Seeing that Shajir was so solemn, Anna and the others said in shock. I agree with the President's actions in this matter. That guy's network is too large, and it really annoys me. Our Summer Chamber of Commerce is afraid that we will have to peel off the skin. Tezzolo on the side said with a smile. I've met him before, but with my astonishing wealth, I can't beat him. That guy's business involves shipping, weapons manufacturing, human trafficking, arms transportation, and various other great transactions related to world governments and kingdoms. It is rude to say that our Summer Chamber of Commerce is in front of him, like a baby, weak. Seeing that Tezzoro is so crowded, did he understand the power of this shipping king? They also put away their contempt. Chapter 418 Recruit Team. In another word, the Ship King has cooperated a lot with Gorosei, 5 elders, and even got the protection of Tenryubito's exclusive bodyguard CP0. There are no more than 20 people in the whole sea who can have this honor. I, the King of Ships, and Joker are one of them. But the ship king can be protected by all CP0s, and has the right to scold and punish them, while me and the Joker can only be protected by 2 random members, and our relationship is equal. With such an analogy, everyone should know the power of the King of Ships. Indeed, after listening to Tezzolo's words, everyone present, even Shajur-Ching, couldn't help being surprised. He never imagined that the King of Ships would have such energy, which could make CP0 his personal soldier. But this also strengthened Shajur-Ching's idea of having a good relationship with him. Okay, let's go. After hearing Shajur-Ching's words, everyone immediately dispersed. The next day, Shajur-Ching chose an island near Nine Snake Island as the place for the assessment. The assessment requirements are also very simple. All those who participated in the competition still survived after 3 days, and the 10 pirate groups that arrived in front of him were all qualified. If nothing else, let's get started. Shajur-Ching gave an order, and these pirates rushed to the island one by one like oiling the soles of their feet. Joining the Summer Chamber of Commerce means prosperity and wealth. They will no longer have to live a life of precariousness and being chased and killed. Therefore, they are working hard and want to cherish this hard-won opportunity. I don't know how many people will survive after 3 days. Shajur-Ching looked at these people with a look of anticipation. Then, he just sat down on the boat and waited. In a short while, there was movement on the island, the sound of swords clashing, cursing, and beast chirping. I hope you can give me a little surprise. Shajur-Ching doesn't like static results. 3 days are fleeting. The first pirate group has arrived. It's not bad, it's a person with a bounty of 200 million, and the overall strength wants to be strong. Seeing that none of the pirates in front of him was reduced, although tired and covered in tatters, Shajur-Ching couldn't help nodding towards them. In less than 5 minutes, the second, the third, until the 10th. Congratulations, you are qualified. Looking at the 10 teams in front of him, Shajur-Ching announced the results to them. Oh. Although they knew that they were qualified, when they heard Shajur-Ching say it, they couldn't help but feel excited. Of course, there are excited people, and naturally there are also lost people. For example, all the teams behind the 11th team. Everyone, in the end, I think you all know that, although you are not qualified, but since you have participated, each pirate group will also give 500,000 Baileys as comfort. Buying people's hearts, Shajur-Ching is not a professional, but he knows some things. Thank you so much. Hearing Shajur-Ching's words, these unqualified teams couldn't help cheering. There was absolutely no sign of frustration on their faces. Let's go. Shajur-Ching left with 10 qualified teams and handed them over to Enel. When it comes to training, Enel is a professional. Shajur-Ching won't go any further. Chapter 419 Have a good talk. Recruiting these people is not intentional. Just as a precaution. Tezzolo's words made him realize one thing, he should now slowly plump his wings. Otherwise, the power of one's own will not be able to support the entire Summer Chamber of Commerce. And this incident also spread in the first half of the Great Route, and the pirate group that was not able to go to Nine Snake Island to seize the opportunity immediately cried out a pity. But just when they wanted to strike while the iron was hot and join the Summer Chamber of Commerce, Shajur-Ching didn't give them this chance. Shajur-Ching said that the Summer Chamber of Commerce will no longer recruit staff. Suddenly, I don't know how many people shouted a pity again. After recruiting these people, Shajur-Ching made preparations, and then took Tezzolo to the New World. Shajur-Ching said this, naturally, to thank the Ship King, and at the same time, try to see if the Ship King can cooperate. With such a big guy's thick legs, he is not a qualified businessman. For the arrival of Shajur-Ching, the Ship King was astonished. Naturally, the standard of reception is also quite high. Who is Shajur-Ching? The boss behind the Summer Chamber of Commerce, the villain with a bounty of 1.5 billion, and Whitebeard standing behind him, can be said to be one of the most unprovoked people in this sea. Even though the King of Ships has a high net worth, it is not an exaggeration to be called one of the rule makers of the underground world. But Shajurching also exists in the same way, he naturally dare not neglect. He was a little uncertain about Shajurching's purpose. Could it be for that conflict? I've long heard that the Thunder Hunter is extremely protective of his shortcomings, and he will report it. It seems that this time the Comer is not good. The King of Ships looked at Shajurching, who was sitting like a noble, with a smile on his face, and turned the ring on his hand anxiously. I don't know why the Thunder Hunter suddenly came to a small place like me. I couldn't afford to offend Shajurching, and I didn't want to continue to delay and put pressure on myself, so the Ship King spoke first. Hee, Senior Sailor King, don't get me wrong, I'm here to thank you for raising your hand and letting go of my ignorant subordinates. Having said that, Shajurching also got up and bowed to the King of Ships. It's just a little effort, no thanks. Seeing this scene, the Ship King hurriedly got up and gave way, not daring to bear it. But since Shajurching was here to thank him, he was relieved. If Shajurching wanted to find fault, it seemed that he really couldn't help Shajurching. He couldn't help feeling thankful that he didn't find the Summer Chamber of Commerce. In the face of absolute strength, his methods are somewhat pale. Seeing this scene, Shajurching and Ship King looked at each other, then, looked at Isho, and sat down again. However, the Ship King was relaxed, and even felt a little flirtatious. It's really a sense of accomplishment to get Shajurching's personal thanks. Senior Ship King, I wonder if my Summer Chamber of Commerce can become a partner with you. Shajurching said again. Oh, I don't know, your condition is. Even if Shajurching didn't say it, the Ship King actually planned to have a good talk with the Sha Chamber of Commerce. Shajurching's strength is so terrifying now. After that, get it. Just take the opportunity to have a conflict with him now, and have a good talk with him, so as not to stand on the opposite side of him. Harmony brings 2 benefits, and division brings 2 disadvantages. Chapter 420 Seek Death. There is a way to make money with peace. You are always a professional in this field. You have the final say. When Shajurching heard that Vivi Isho, he looked like he was being slaughtered by the king. But the Ship King will never think that Shajurching can be slaughtered by him. Knowing that this is Shajurching's intention to show weakness, naturally Vivi Isho also said, then I will try it. Then, he started a discussion with Shajurching. Naturally, the Ship King did not dare to have the slightest idea of deceiving Shajurching. After all, Shajurching's strength is there. If Shajurching is cheated, if Shajurching takes revenge, the consequences are absolutely unimaginable. The King of Ships doesn't want to see his immortality end like this. Moreover, he did not believe that Shajurching would not know the doorway. As long as the Ship King tried to trick him a little, it would inevitably lead to his terrifying revenge. Time has passed in the negotiation. By the time we finished talking, it was already late at night. Happy cooperation. But the 2 sides of the cooperation are not tired at all, and they all have sincere smiles on their faces. Happy cooperation, harmony makes money, Shajurching said with a smile. Then, he said goodbye. The Ship King invited Shajurching to stay, but Shajurching said that he didn't want too much nuisance. Seeing that he couldn't keep Shajurching, the Ship King could only let Shajurching leave. In this way, the development of our Summer Chamber of Commerce will be able to go further, with better resources, more channels, and stronger operations. On the sea surface in the late night of independence, Shajurching opened his arms as if he wanted to embrace the sky, his face full of relief. After cooperating with Ship King, he will be able to get more news from the world government. For him, it is important to want to be. This can save him a lot of detours. Turn an enemy into a friend, one more friend, after all, is better than one more enemy. Shajurching didn't know who he was talking about with this emotion. After speaking, he shrank his neck, and then went back to the ship to rest. Tezzolo, Summer Chamber of Commerce, maybe it can really become a huge force. And it is not supported by Whitebeard. The cooperation between the Summer Chamber of Commerce and the King of Ships is naturally hidden from the world government. Gorosei, 5 elders only had a deep murderous look on their faces after learning the news. This kid is urging us to kill him. The eyes of Koichiro, who was holding the sword, flashed with strong murderous intent. Shajirching is already dangerous enough, and the Gorosei, 5 elders have already killed him. Now, he actually cooperated with a giant-like ship king again. What does this mean? That means time is running out for the Gorosei, 5 elders to assassinate him. Either the Summer Chamber of Commerce rose up and developed into an immortal giant that they all provoke, or they killed Shajirching and relieved a confidant. In that case, look for an opportunity to kill him. Scar on the head, Hornbeard Gorosei, 5 elders say. Hem. The rest nodded in agreement. New World, Punk Hazard Duh. I heard that our Summer Chamber of Commerce is currently in urgent need of talents in scientific research. Is there such a thing? Shajirching was lying on the sofa and asked Tezzolo, who was like a gentleman to the side. Well, almost. There is currently a lack of an expert in biochemistry. It is not the first time that Gilzer has told me that there are too few researchers. Hearing this, Tezzolo also rubbed his eyebrows with a headache. Obviously, she is not less annoyed by her.